New Luvafoodie iced tea. 4 clean drinking iced tea flavors. Lemon lovers, passion fruit lovers, raspberry lovers, and blood orange lovers iced tea. Eat clean, be well and stay well with our clean eating spice blends at Luvafoodie.
Hello, everybody. Happy Monday. Today is the last Monday of June. Can you believe how fast June just flew by? It's June 27th, and the next time we talk, it will be July. We will not have a show next week because it is July 4th on Monday. But today I have a very special guest. Please welcome Megan McCarty from Did I say it right?
RotGut.
RotGut Coffee.
You almost had it. Just a little flip.
Yeah, I always want to say the other one. RotGut Coffee, LLC, out of Chicago, Illinois. Welcome, Megan.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I love your little jingle at the beginning.
Oh, yeah, there'll be a little jingle at the end, too. That was actually Bob's idea. Bob's like, why aren't you doing a starter video? And he had some really good tips. So I thank Bob for actually introducing me to you. And so tell us a little bit about Megan, and then we'll get into your brand and how you started it and all that good stuff.
All right. So Megan, I definitely am a nerd, hence the post-apocalypse theme stuff going on with my business. And I almost said young mother. I'm a mother of one.
Oh.
She's 3 years old. And yeah, I don't know what much else to say about that.
I'll ask you some questions. I'll make it easier. Did you have a career or a job before you started your own company?
I was a stay-at-home. I've done kind of odd jobs all over the place. I think the longest career per se I was a veterinary assistant in an emergency vet hospital for a while.
Okay.
And that's just a really stressful environment, 24/7, 4 to midnight, everybody's, running around, heads cut off. And it was a little too brutal for me personally.
I understand, especially emergency when people are coming in. I've been through that ER with my previous dog, and it's very stressful. So what got you into the coffee business? It's very competitive. I used to sell coffee about 15 years ago for Sarah Lee, and I know how competitive the landscape is. So tell us about how you got into coffee.
Well, I've always loved coffee. It's actually kind of a funny story. When I was younger, my family was Mormon, and we had kind of a mischievous aunt that introduced me and my mom to coffee. We'd sneak over there and try like her exotic imported coffees. And so I started drinking coffee at about around 11, and have been absolutely obsessed with it ever since then. As far as why did I start a coffee business, coffee was already something I knew and was really into. But having been a stay-at-home mom for a while, I've always been someone that I'm really good at adapting, and I usually just go with the flow and just kind of try to thrive wherever I'm put. But starting a business, and a competitive business at that, was me trying to step out of like the flow of things and say, okay, I want to manifest something from my own willpower into existence and make it work if it kills me.
I get that. So when did you start your company?
A year ago, in May.
Just a year then. Okay. Yeah. So you're still going through a lot of growing pains. Yes. So what got you to develop the brand and the name? Where did you come up with the name for your company and your coffee line?
Yeah. So the name definitely came first. I when I brew my coffee, I love like a really thick, sludgy, dark brew. I love motor oil in the morning. And it's actually kind of funny because I was sitting there quietly with my husband one morning, and he just sat down with his cup, took a sip, just absolutely blew his head back, slammed the cup down, and went, I can't drink your RotGut coffee anymore. And he went about flailing and having a tantrum over it. And I just sat and thought, that would be a great name for a coffee brand.
So actually we owe it to your husband.
We do, yep.
Coined the name.
You can coin that one.
Yes. Well, I haven't tried it yet. So So where do you outsource your beans? I know your coffee is available in whole bean and ground.
Yes. So each blend and single origin and everything, they're cultivated from around the world. I go through Temecula Roasters in California, and they are absolutely awesome about first of all their selection. So this is just my personal curated selection of favorites from them.
Okay.
Um, but everything is like super well sourced. You can look up the information, like how it was grown, like what elevation, what country, how was it processed, a lot of things like that. And they also do the roasting. It's roast to order, so it's absolutely as fresh as it can possibly be when it hits your doorstep. It's not sitting on a shelf. I don't have a warehouse full of it that I have to pack and ship and go anywhere. So it's all super fresh, really well sourced, and straight to your door.
So they do private label for you then?
Yes.
They're doing the packaging and they're doing the blending, and are they also doing the shipping for you?
Yeah, so it comes straight from them again, just so it hits your door at its peak freshness. I don't have it stored at my house or anything like that.
And you don't have a DC.
No.
So I don't know a lot about that roaster in California. Do they do other brands?
Yeah, so they do drop ship for other brands.
Okay. So did you look at other coffee co-pack? I'm going to call them a co-packer because that's kind of what it sounds like they are. Did
Yeah.
you look at other co-packers across the country before deciding to go with that one?
I did. I honestly really wanted to go with a company called Joe's Coffee Garage, based out of Seattle, which coincidentally I'm from. Uh, the issue with them is that they do not roast to order. And it would have been cool because they have a really unique ability that you can go in and uh, benchmark certain coffees. You can go into their lab and really kind of do your own thing and add vitamin shots and things like that. But I definitely went with the people that I wanted to go to with Temecula Roasters simply because they are super well resourced. They have great certifications. They have a lot of information on all of their stuff, and it's just their coffees are immaculate. So
Okay. So do they require you to produce or make X amount a year in order to be a vendor with them?
no, I go through a program called Drip Shipper,
Okay.
um, and it's kind of almost like a print on demand model. So I pay for the cost of production, but I'm not required to make any kind of quota.
Okay,
Um,
so they're not requiring you to ship like 10,000 pounds a year or
nope.
anything?
Nope.
No. So other than your website, do you have coffee in distribution anywhere else?
No, not currently.
And so what is your, objective when you think about your brand? Is it to get into retail stores? Is it to just do online? Is it to get on Amazon?
My ultimate goal would to have multiple sources. So yeah, definitely my first and foremost like long-term goal would be get to grocery.
Okay. And what about other online stores? Like if you thought about Fair, are you familiar with Fair or Mabel?
I'm not, no.
Okay, Fair and Mabel are two wholesale websites for smaller companies and smaller stores to buy product from. So you would become a Fair vendor or a Mabel vendor, and then you
Mhm.
would have your product on their website. And then if I owned, let's say, Michelle's Coffee Shop, I could go on to Fair or Mabel and see all the different vendors that I could buy directly from Fair or Mabel. And then you get the order from Fair or Mabel, and then it ships to that customer.
Okay, yeah.
You might want to look at those two websites, because they are probably would be really good for you.
Yeah, sounds like it. I definitely will have to look into that.
Right. So what, Megan, with staying at home with is it a 3-year-old?
Mhm.
How are you able to get out there and spread the word that you have this brand and this distribution?
It has been difficult. I would say, you know, uh, I'm really lucky that I have a great support system. So anytime I have a situation where I might not want to bring her, I can always get, babysitters and things like that. Luckily, the way I was going with my brand, um, most of me getting out there is, and I've been planning to do this more often, but to go to like local gaming shops, local like Warhammer places, and anywhere they might sell like Magic or things like that, and go in and be like, hey, can I host your Friday Night Magic? And if somebody wins, they get this free bag of coffee, things like that. I will say it has been hard considering I started in the middle of a pandemic. So getting out there has mostly been online things.
And in the coffee landscape is so competitive too that there's so many brands out there. Um, do you have any kind of sampling program if a company wants to have a taste? I mean, other than your big bags that you ship, do you have any smaller format?
Unfortunately, I don't have that ability currently. The company I do go through, it is kind of limited in the things that I can produce for sale. So that would be one of the downsides of the company I chose. But I decided early on that like quality was going to be the forefront of the business. So sadly, I can't do like little pouches.
Yeah. Have you considered going to the co-ops in Chicago?
Co-ops?
Like the food co-ops?
Oh, yeah, I did just receive an invitation for Coffee Fest, which sadly I missed the deadline on that, but I do hope to sometime around next year be able to sign up and become one of the vendors.
Yeah, because I think the best advice I have for you is to start small
Hmm.
locally in your city or your geography
Yeah.
and build it from there.
Hmm.
And that might be doing like holiday shows because coffee's really peaks during fourth quarter and first quarter with the holiday season. Get involved. I don't know if you did this last year. Well, probably not because of the pandemic, but going into fourth quarter now, there should be some holiday shows. Maybe you can get into those crafty
Yeah,
boutique shows.
absolutely. I have been looking into certain conventions and things, mostly in the Chicago area.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, what are the biggest challenges you face on a daily basis?
I would say getting out there, getting into these things, knowing about them in the first place is kind of hard to track them down. Um, Also, I've been a hermit a majority of my life, so kind of getting out there and exposing myself to a bunch of strangers has been out of my comfort zone for sure.
Okay, so you would classify yourself as more as an introvert?
Very much so.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be honest with you, that's gonna be hard because sales is tough,
Yeah,
and you really have to
so I'm
go out.
learning.
Yeah, you have to really go out there and hustle. And
Hmm.
rejection is a big part of the sales process. You're going to get shot down more than you're probably going to get received, and it takes a long time.
Yep, especially with a name like RotGut, I've had some criticisms, but the wonderful thing about it, as an introvert walking into this, is I have stumbled kind of blindly into this area, and amazingly, my reception has been a majority positive. And I kind of stumbled upon people like you and Bob that have kind of taken me under their wing and been like, "Why don't you start walking this direction?" I just kind of stumble into it, and it seems to be again majority positive. I had a lot of rejections,
Hmm.
but I would say overwhelmingly most of the reception has been positive.
Yeah, and hopefully your husband has. I mean, he's the financial breadwinner, so there's not as much pressure on you to deliver a weekly paycheck. Hopefully,
Yeah. Because of my scenario, my business model is pretty tight, so it's not a huge financial, I'm not pouring thousands into it
right,
at any given point. It's mostly self-sustaining. So,
right, right. As long as your co-packer is not, I think you were smart to make the decision not to have minimums with a co-packer because
mhm.
the majority of, I think, coffee, the, the category and the co-packers out there would require you to have a minimum.
Yeah, that was a big deciding factor in choosing them.
Right, right. And the first 3 to 5 years are really risky. You're either going to make it or not. It's sort of after the 5 year point, if you're still a brand, you've hopefully gained distribution and you're sustainable to some
Mhm.
extent. But it will take a lot of hard work, a lot of hustle, And hopefully you've got a big network that you can continue to build
Mhm.
around word of mouth with your friends and family and drive people to your website.
Yeah.
That would be the other thing. But I would encourage you not to give up. Follow your dream. It's going to be harder than you think, but as long as you have, and maybe the other thing you might want to do is, I don't know how old you are, but check out campuses, check out universities. There's a lot in Chicago, and check out some of the independent coffee shops,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah, there are a few who have surprisingly sprung up even during everything right now in my local town. So I've been thinking about hitting them up. But yeah, I didn't think about universities. That's a
Yeah,
great read.
because I think your name is catchy and
Mhm.
it's it's for the other places, maybe like bike shops or just other venues that are not your normal like coffee
Yeah,
shop, but yet, hey, it would be nice to have some coffee at this place. You
yeah,
know, I don't know why I'm getting the vision of tattoo shops.
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that's something to pursue. Uh, Chicago's got a lot of funky different areas, a lot
Yeah.
of different, small little pockets of
Mhm.
different cultures and different ethnic areas, and so check out those areas too.
Yeah. Yeah, that is one thing I definitely learned early on. My demographic is not necessarily who I thought they'd be. Um, it's funny because, I had you start your business thinking of like your ideal customer. And so I'm thinking like male gamer somewhere from like 18 to 32. And it's funny because predominantly females are my current subscribers. Into gaming and into some of the post-apocalypse stuff, but tend to be older, on the older side of the demographic I earlier described, but mostly females. So,
Okay.
and then I have a lot of people who are along who you'd think of like Black Rifle Coffee or maybe even Death Wish. So people that enjoy those tend to also subscribe.
Sure, sure. And I would also think that you being a mom, if you're in any mom groups or parenting groups,
Hmm.
moms like to usually help other moms and spread the word. You might even want to consider getting some brand ambassadors, women that or men, or both that can go out and sort of promote your brand and spread the word. And you probably can't afford to pay them, but you can give them product to use. Um,
Yeah. Sorry, my dog. Yeah, I actually am currently talking to someone that has offered to go out and kind of negotiate with micro influencers about being brand ambassadors. So that is
mhm.
an exciting thing if that happens soon. I hope,
Yeah.
but we're currently still in the negotiating phase.
Sure, sure. Well, I would say look at every potential opportunity because there's no opportunity that, there's no scenario that couldn't be an opportunity. You just
Right.
have to look high and
Yeah. Definitely a year in. It might not be the best model, but I feel like I'm definitely in the stage of throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks.
you have to throw a lot against the wall.
Then,
And yes, and continue. And the days that you hopefully aren't too discouraged, or if you are discouraged, you have I'm sure a little 3-year-old you can go pick up and that
oh
makes
yeah,
you smile and happy, and so that helps too. It
yeah,
helps to have a balance.
it does.
Well, do you have any questions for me, Megan?
Ah, trying to think. Um, you've given me a lot of great advice. It's hard to think. What was your coffee business 15 years ago? If you don't
Oh, well, I
mind.
actually worked for a large corporation called Sara Lee, and we had a brand called Senseo, which was the first single serve brand to come to the United States.
Okay.
So it's not around anymore, but it would be like a Keurig. We had a machine and a
Yeah. So you
pot
were
and
Keurig before Keurig.
exactly,
Cool.
exactly. Yeah, they're still around in Europe. It's a European brand. Now Egberts is the parent company, but no, the coffee roasting industry is very interesting. I've always thought someday I'd get back into the coffee
Yeah,
category at some point, and maybe I will. But it's very competitive, so
it is.
people are very particular. It's almost like a high. I mean, some people are very. It's almost like wine. the real wine connoisseurs are very particular in what they drink and or whiskey and not everybody is a coffee connoisseur, but there is that element. And with
Right.
yours being a premium price, I think that's who you want to target too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Megan, tell everybody how they can get a hold of you. What's the name of your website and how they can order?
So we are rotgutcoffees.com, and we have a subscribe and save, so you can literally pop on one time, set yourself up, save 15%, and have coffee delivered to your doorstep every month. We're also on Instagram. We're RotGut Coffee on Instagram and Facebook.
Nice. Well, Megan, don't have any more questions for you. I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you so much.
And if I can help you out, you've got my contact information. And if I think of any other venues or ideas for you, I'll shoot them your way. But I think it's great to try to be an entrepreneur, and a woman entrepreneur is even better. And if nothing else, you're going to be a role model for your daughter and your friends and family, and you'll learn a lot along the way. And if things don't work out, maybe you'll try another brand or pivot. I mean, that's just be open-minded to whatever path comes your way and walk it. That's the best advice I can give to you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Have a great week. We will not be on July 4th, but we'll be back on July 7th. Happy July 4th and happy July. Thank you.
All right. So I was totally stunted there.